Well, hi everyone. Today's Zoom call is about the king of macronutrients, namely protein. Originally named from the Greek word proteus, meaning of first rank, we'll find that adequate protein is non-negotiable for optimal health span and for longevity. We've addressed before that muscle is the organ of longevity, promoting things like insulin sensitivity, cancer risk prevention, fat loss, etc. So that's really not the topic for today, but we know that there are three critical ingredients necessary for building lean muscle mass. They are structured resistance training, adequate protein intake, and active recovery, which includes quality sleep. I've organized today's protein discussion into three sections. Section one will address how much, when, and why, and I'm going to cite important current scientific method research from industry expert Alan Aragon. In the second section, I'll cover how I informally account for my daily intake of protein grams. And then in the third section, we'll discuss protein facts and myths and other considerations to get into. So with that said, let's get started. I thought I would start with some fun facts about protein. The human body is made up almost entirely of protein. It's next to water as the most abundant component of our mass. Protein is the main ingredient for our muscles, organs, skin, and nails. Your blood is red because of the protein called hemoglobin, which carries oxygen to the lungs and cells and disposes of carbon dioxide waste. And many hormones are constructed of proteins. As a reminder, hormones are chemical messengers that send commands to regulate our physiology. Protein is composed of amino acids. Amino acids are molecules used by all living things to make protein. Our body needs 20 different amino acids to function correctly. 9 of these are called essential, and that just means that they must come from foods, meaning our body cannot create them otherwise. So what do amino acids do for us? The list is remarkable. It includes breaking down our food, growing and repairing body tissue, making hormones, providing energy, maintaining skin, hair, and nails, building muscle, which this is a big one for us weightlifting enthusiasts, and boosting our immune system, which is a really critical function, especially as we age. So this builds a really strong case for why protein. And the more I thought about it, this list really got me to thinking, I'm figuring out that the standard American eating the recommended daily allowance, or RDA, or even less of protein is likely going to experience some muscle wasting and health declines over time. And this is because, as discussed, the body demands amino acids for our immune system, our eyesight, our hormones, our hemoglobin, and it takes this amino acids from our muscles, which is the primary store of amino acids. So this is especially important for weightlifters since muscle building demands its own amino acids for repair and building, in addition to supporting immune system and other critical functions. So next, foods that contain all 9 essential amino acids are called complete proteins. They include things like beef, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy, soy, quinoa, and buckwheat. Foods that contain some but not all of the essential amino acids are referred to as incomplete. They include things like nuts, seeds, beans, and some grains. So this creates an important note for vegetarian and vegan diets. It's important to do what's called complementing, which is to include several types of these incomplete proteins in order to ensure that you're consuming all 9 of the essential amino acids. Next, let's address Alan Aragon's research and key findings that he refers to as his protein hierarchy. So the first one is how much. And modern science and research supports the intake of approximately 1 gram per pound of target body weight. And they really put it more like in a range. It's not a closest to the pin type number. So something like 0.7 to 1.1 grams per pound is really ideal. So you can note this this recommendation is more than twice the recommended daily allowance, or RDA. That guideline was created over 40 years ago, and most, if not all, industry experts agree it's fairly outdated. The second hierarchy to note is that it's important to dose your protein intake evenly over 3 to 4 feedings thereabouts. And a reasonable amount of protein to ingest would be somewhere between 30 to up to 60 grams per feeding. The third hierarchical comment is that pre and post workout timing of protein intake is a relative non-factor in relation to athletic performance. And then I wanted to throw in a fourth key point from Alan, and that is that protein is more important during a caloric deficit to preserve muscle mass during weight loss, which is to say muscle wasting is a risk with caloric deficit weight loss program, and protein protects muscle in this situation. Now on to section 2, my ideas and methods to achieve my protein intake goals. I believe my weight, approximately 170 pounds, is near my ideal or goal weight, which is only to say I can use that to determine my protein goal. So if I use that range of 0.7 to 1.1 grams per pound of goal weight, that equates to 119 to 187 grams of protein. And you can see that's a pretty big difference, a 68 gram difference in that range. So the midpoint's about 150 or thereabouts, or about 0.9 grams per pound. So you can tell this is an inexact but fairly optimal goal. So how do you hit 150 to 170 grams in a day? In my opinion, it's fairly easy. And I'm going to rely on a couple supplements, which I refer to, and they would be like protein shakes. So I'll have a protein shake upon waking before I have my coffee, and maybe one later in the afternoon. And I've read from dietitians and nutrition experts that that's perfectly fine. You want to go with the notion food first, but it's perfectly fine to supplement your protein and with quality whey isolate protein. And then in my case, by getting those 2 shakes, there's 60. So then I just rely on maybe grabbing about 40 grams at a lunch, maybe 40 grams at a dinner, and then just some healthy protein snacks. So like a non-fat Greek yogurt or some nuts to give me the other 15 to 35 grams. And there I've hit the 170 gram target. So a great short protein list for me, and I turn to these quite often on a daily basis, would include beans, salmon, chicken, tuna, yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, lentils, peas, hummus, soybeans, and nuts. And these again are my most frequent go-tos, but I'm going to share with you guys on the app after I've posted the YouTube. I've got a really great thorough list from a research paper of Allen's. So that'll go through a very extensive list of vegetable and animal source protein. Now in section 3, let's cover protein myths and facts. So the first one is a fact. Protein first thing upon waking is helpful. So while at sleep, our muscles enter a state of breakdown and our metabolism does slow down. The National Academy of Sports Medicine recommends you consume a rich source of protein, 20 to 30 grams, within an hour of waking. So you've been without your protein for up to 8 hours while you're sleeping. And you'll notice that Will most often comments that he takes a protein shake with his coffee in the morning. So that stands up next to that recommendation. The National Institutes of Health, to the other side of that bookend, also recommends protein ingestion before sleep may aid in muscle preservation, especially as studied among the elderly or aging population. The second point is a myth. The intake of too much protein can overwhelm the kidneys and cause damage. The National Academy of Sports Medicine, once again, cites multiple studies over many years that this is just simply not true. It is important to note that people who suffer from severe kidney damage need to counsel with their medical professionals on this topic, but ranges up to 1.5 or even 1.6 grams per pound of target body weight have been shown to be safe per Alan Aragon's research. The next point is a fact. It's tough to get enough vitamin B12 if all your protein comes from plants. And that's because B12 only is available from animal-sourced foods. So vegans and vegetarians should take B supplements. So remember, B12 is a nutrient that keeps your DNA and red blood cells and nerve cells healthy. And last, I'll close with a myth. Plant-based sources of protein are healthier than animal sources. And the point here is that's kind of true, but not necessarily. And I want to make the statement that amino acids are amino acids. So whether it's from chicken or lentils, But some studies claim people who eat more animal protein tend to have higher risk of some cancers, stroke, heart disease. But it's not really due to the protein content, it's more due to the advantages that vegetables offer in the way of antioxidants and fiber. Really, balance and variety are best. And then finally, with regard to protein forward diet, Harvard Medical School supports everything we've discussed today and recommends three things. One, get your protein from healthy sources such as low fat dairy, fish, nuts, beans, lean chicken, and turkey. Number two, spread your protein consumption across all of your meals throughout the day. And then number three, choose a well-balanced diet that includes lots of fruits, vegetables, and fiber. I wanted to close with a quote from Dr. Peter Attia from his famous recent book called Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity. He states, "Don't ignore protein. It's the one macronutrient that is absolutely essential to our goals. There are no minimum requirements for carbohydrates or fats in practical terms, but if you shortchange protein, most certainly you will pay the price, particularly as you age." So that concludes my prepared comments. And I know I went through that rather quickly, but again, I'll post this YouTube on our app when we're done recording. And if anyone has any questions or comments, be happy to take those now.
This has been great information. I guess the only question that I have, you often see branched chain amino acid supplements. Do you have, in your research, have you found any evidence that can assist you in reaching your protein goals without, taking protein? What has your research shown on that?
That's a great question. And yeah, the branched chain amino acids are the starting molecules of protein that protein are built on. What Alan Aragon says about branched chain amino acid supplementation is it's not really worth the money. So again, coming back to that comment, food first. So, first turn to your whole food sources of protein, and then some of your protein supplementation through, whey isolate. So be it protein scoop of powder or protein shake or bars. And I think that, that'll cover really all your needs for protein. I mean, you can try branched chain amino acid supplementation, but I believe you can avoid the extra expense by, Alan's comment is it's not necessarily worth the money. But
Excellent.
I appreciate that question very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Alexei, we'll get this this recording uploaded and everyone can review it later. And thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Bye.